Hello everybody and welcome back to myPACE. We're going to just keep on cruising forward and we are going to go into lesson 18. This is where we're going to start talking about the second pathway that is available to you. This is going to be your college pathway. So this is a pathway that a lot of you guys are probably considering because this is the pathway that has been the most commonly brought up throughout our entire lives. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit more information about the college opportunities available to you through the scope of Job Corps, but also what it means to go to college and what you can achieve out of it. As a reminder, the DOL Job Corps YouTube page is going to offer a lot of great resources about the pathways, including college through the perspective of a student. This is actually a video that is included on the exit ticket for lesson 17. It'll be the first of 2 videos that are on that page on the myPACE website. And this is actually a really great example of what college is going to look like from the perspective of a student. Now this is a girl who is going to the City College of San Francisco in order to pursue a career in nursing. And she talks about how she lives on center. Job Corps is paying for living expenses, so she only needs to really worry about transportation and making sure that she gets to class on time. And that's a really great opportunity that could potentially be available for you too. And we're going to be going a little bit more into detail with this. This graph is going to look a little similar to what you saw in lesson 12 when we were talking about return on investment. However, the main difference that we see here is that in lesson 12, this was a graph that had data from 2017. This is from 2016. And it's also going to have a tiny bit more information that I would actually like to point out to you. Most specifically, if we look right in the middle of this chart here, we see professional certificate and career school. So this is actually really interesting and not included on that first chart that you were shown in lesson 12, but career school is what you are currently doing. So this is your average financial and unemployment potential with completing training at Job Corps. So trade school is incredibly beneficial to you guys when it comes to your average earnings and also your unemployment rate. We see in comparison to people who have gone to college but not gotten a degree, and those who have an associate's degree, people who go to a professional career school have a lower chance of being unemployed. So that means there's a lot more career opportunities for you. There is so much growth for your career in the trades, and that's always something that you want to consider. But we're going to move back into focusing about college. For the purposes of myPACE, we're going to be focusing in on 4 different levels of degrees. At the very bottom, we are going to have an associate's degree. These are 2-year degree programs that you can commonly see in community colleges and technical schools. And programs that do offer associate's degrees generally follow more practical industries, such as nursing, computer graphics, information technology, and hospitality management. And we do have a few acronyms on the screen that do indicate the different types of associate's degrees that are available to you. We see an Associates of Arts, an Associates of Science, and an Associates of Applied Science. So these are going to be really great to qualify you for a lot of entry-level jobs. But ultimately, what is entry-level is going to be determined by your field and your ultimate occupation. So different levels of education may dictate what entry level is going to be for you. But moving on, an associate's degree can also be used as kind of a stairway into the next level of college education, which is a bachelor's degree. This is the most common one that you guys are probably the most familiar with because this is your classic 4-year college. Bachelor's degrees are normally offered through state colleges and universities. Bachelor's degrees require students choose a major area of study such as finance, biology, sociology. You can go farther and get a bachelor's in nursing if you wanted to. And what this is going to do is this may qualify you for entry-level jobs, but it could also prepare you to enter management-level jobs. Ultimately, that's going to depend on the field. Next, we have the master's degree. So, these are going to require a little bit more effort. Like I mentioned in the last lesson, lesson 17, all of this information is kind of like a funnel. You're getting extremely specific the farther you go along. And that's the case with a master's degree. This is where you start to specialize in an area of study. So, you are able to take your bachelor's degree, because you need a bachelor's before you can get a master's, and you can start to really specialize and focus in on your field. And what this is going to do for you is this is going to allow you to qualify for some executive level positions. We do see a lot of different options in terms of the type of degrees available for you at the master's level. We see a master's of arts, a master's of science, a master's of business administration, and a master's of fine arts. Getting admitted into a master's degree program or a graduate program, which might be more familiar to you, is going to require meeting certain GPA requirements and also different things like letters of recommendation, standardized test scores, and different things like that. Lastly, we have the highest level of education, which is the doctoral program. Now, this is no joke. If we look here at the amount of time that it takes to get a doctoral degree, that's 4 to 10 years. Because it takes time to be an expert in your field. Now, we see that a doctoral degree is also known as a PhD. What that actually stands for is called a philosophical doctor. Now, obviously, there's a difference between a PhD and an MD, which is a medical doctor. That's that bit that you see on Saturday Night Live that has been bled dry about somebody having a health emergency on a plane and the flight attendant asks, "Is anybody a doctor?" And there's that one tool that speaks up going, "Yes, I have a doctorate in philosophy." And they're like, "Wait, no, people are dying. Like, can we not do this right now?" There's going to be a difference there. And a great way to remember it, it's incredibly stupid, but you'll never forget it. A PhD stands for fake doctor, with a capital PH in fake. And a fun fact about having a PhD, if you do have a PhD, you are considered an expert in your field, and you can actually be called to testify in court as an expert witness. Other myths that we commonly see are that college primarily prepares you for the workforce. That is the goal of all college. And that's true to an extent. So, we saw on an earlier slide that additional college degrees are associated with more money and less of a chance to be unemployed. But, depending on your school, the program that you're in, and the major that you're pursuing, going into the workforce might not be what your college professors are aiming for you to do. That might not be their goal. So, college is going to teach you how to think deeply and solve complex problems, as well as teaching you about the history of thought in a certain field. Because everybody scoffs at theory until they see the practical application of it and they see it in action. Knowing how each individual part of the machine works is incredibly helpful to know how it works together. So, a good way to tell what your professor's goal is when you are in college is looking at the name of your program. If the name of your program is the name of a job, for example, nursing, finance, computer graphics, different things like that, it is probably preparing you to enter the workforce and get a job once you graduate. If your program is not the name of a job, like sociology, psychology, pre-med, pre-law, different things like that, it's probably preparing you for more college, which indicates that you might need to go to graduate school to pursue your ultimate occupation. The next myth that we're going to talk about is the most common one that I hear as an instructor, and that is, I can't afford college, it costs too much. So this is where Job Corps is going to offer an incredibly unique opportunity to you, and that is what we call our Advanced Career Training Program. So what this is going to do is this is going to allow you to live on center and still have support from our Job Corps staff while you are attending college. This is such a great opportunity for you guys because housing is the biggest expense on your college bill. Speaking from personal experience, I paid more to go and live in the dorms on campus than I did to actually attend my classes. So being able to have that housing covered and not having to worry about those expenses are going to give you so much more financial freedom and the ability to focus more on your classes. You're also going to have the FAFSA, which is the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. And this is going to tell you about any grants, scholarships, or loans that you might qualify for. On top of that, scholarships do have so many different options for you. They have scholarships for being under 4'11". They have scholarships for being naturally blonde. They have scholarships for being Native American. There's so many different opportunities for you to pursue a scholarship. And most financial aid is need-based. So what that means is the less money that you have, the less money you are going to have to pay. And if you get in touch with the right college, they might also be pursuing generational poverty and eliminating that gap the way that Job Corps is. So they might not cost you tuition at all. And that's going to be incredibly helpful for you. And there are thousands of corporations across the United States offering scholarships to students every year. A really great one that a lot of students don't realize that they qualify for is what's called a first-generation scholarship. Now, what this means is if you are the first person in your family to graduate from college, that's a scholarship. That's something that they're going to throw money at you in the pursuit of ending generational poverty. On top of that, there are other scholarships that you can get through standardized testing. So the ACT that you might have taken if you've already gone to high school, but if not, that's something that Job Corps will actually pay for you to take. Now, on a scale of 1 to 36, the national average is 21. So if you get a 23 or higher, in most colleges, that's going to be an automatic scholarship just for being in the top 50% of students your age. So you have a lot more scholarship opportunities than you really think. It's just a matter of looking for them. Now, advantages to going to college. The first one, you're gonna have better chances of higher salaries because you are bringing so much more education and knowledge to the table. You're also going to have more career options in every field and every industry. Similar to what we talked about with the advanced training, you've earned the right to be picky about your job opportunities because you have all of this amazing training. Why not use it? You're going to get benefits for you and your family. It's incredibly expensive to get healthcare that isn't provided by your employer. So having healthcare through your work is going to be super helpful in saving you money as time goes on. And if, God forbid, something were to happen medically, you're going to have insurance so that you're covered. In addition, 401k plans, so a retirement plan is a benefit, but also things like paid sick leave and paid vacation. Those are benefits that everybody is looking for because sometimes people need to recharge. Sometimes people want to take vacations and go travel. And so when you have a company that does want to offer that to you, you are going to have so many more options by going into that company with a college degree. You're going to have access to a network of professional people that can help you get to better opportunities. This is the whole idea of networking. If you know somebody who knows somebody, that can be enough to get your foot in the door. And yeah, college is expensive, but it's an upfront investment that we proved in Lesson 12. If you're going for the right reasons, it can pay for itself down the road. When we're talking about investments that pay for themselves down the road, it's important to remember everything that we went over in Lesson 12 of myPACE, where we were discussing return on investments and comparing at what level of education it might really be worth pursuing in order to get to your ultimate goal. We see here for computer systems analysts that the annual salary is about $54,000, just shy, which is close to double what the average person with an associate's degree is going to make. That's really great. So what if we continue on and instead of investing in ourselves for 2 years, we invest in ourselves for 4 to 5 years and we get the bachelor's degree. And now we've become a computer programmer. We see two main things that stand out here. The first being a slightly lower entry-level salary, so we see just over $50,000 compared to $54,000, and we also see a below-average job outlook. So the job market for computer programmers isn't something that is rapidly booming compared to a computer systems analyst. So it may be more difficult to get a job in this profession. But, okay, maybe instead of investing in ourselves for 4 to 5 years, how about we go for 7 and we get a master's degree? And now we are a computer and information research scientist. Would it be worth it at that level of education? Absolutely. So we see, compared to an associate's degree of 2 years and a master's degree that takes an overall total of 7 years, we see the annual salary double. And that's really great. So when you're considering that return on investment, make sure you are looking at your overall lifetime income so you can see what would happen if you reap the rewards of this amazing education. Your cost in time. College programs are typically going to last between 2 to 4 years depending on the type of degree. So your bachelor's and associates are going to take between 2 and 4 years. Your master's degree can also take 2 to 3 years. So the master's degree itself does require that amount of time, but you need to take into account that you also need your bachelor's before you can go for the master's. You do have to complete your Job Corps career technical training and your academic requirements before pursuing your college pathway. So, the same thing with advanced training. College is kind of running on the assumption that you already have your basic training. You have to have your high school diploma before you can go to college. So that same logic that we had in advanced training is going to apply here. If you are accepted into the advanced career training program, where you live on center and you commute to college, it's going to put you in the same time-wise set up as the advanced training. So it's going to tack on that additional year. So from the time that you started Job Corps to the time that you complete, that cannot be longer than 3 years. So if there is additional time in college that you need outside of those 3 years, you might have to pursue housing elsewhere, but that is still going to save you a good amount of money when it comes to the cost of housing. Your cost in dollars. The price tag of college is extremely high, and we have really seen that continue to grow, especially in the last 30 years, where the price tag of college has increased by over 600%. It's not what it was back in the 70s, and that's a sad reality, but it's something that we do have to kind of accommodate. So, if you qualified for Job Corps, you're probably not going to be paying sticker price for college. There's probably some type of grant, loan, or scholarship that you are going to qualify for so that you can attend college, because we are all about opportunity. And when you think about it, yeah, that money could go towards something else. The price of a car is expensive. The price of a house is expensive. But owning a car isn't going to make you more money. Owning a house isn't going to make you more money. Education and investing in yourself is what's going to turn around that higher annual salary. And if you do get accepted into the Advanced Career Training Program through Job Corps, we're going to continue to provide you those different benefits. So housing, food, healthcare, and the weekly allowance. In these next couple of slides, I'm going to introduce to you a really useful resource when it comes to counting the cost of college. Now, this is a net price calculator that is run through usnews.com. Now, you see here we have two lists, a list of all national universities and all liberal arts colleges. So you're going to start by selecting the college that you are interested in applying to or you're planning on attending. And it is going to pull up this net price calculator. And what you are going to do is you are going to enter in some information like, are you planning on applying for financial aid? How old you are, and where you're planning on living, because that is going to impact how much money you would be spending. So your living situation, are you going to be living on campus in a dorm or apartment? Are you going to be living on your own or with a roommate, or are you going to be living with family? That's going to impact how much you're going to be spending overall. And what this website is going to spit out is a lot of really interesting information. So we see for the academic year, the estimated tuition and fees that you would be paying in terms of how much it would cost for you to go to classes. You're also going to see your room and board charges. In the case of this person, they indicated that they're going to be living with family, so they're assuming that there is going to be no expenses for living. We also see how much they would be granted in terms of financial aid for the year. Keep in mind this is for the year. It's not for the full period of time that you are in college. It is just for one financial year. This is how much you would be getting in terms of federal aid. And then, after those grants and scholarships, how much money is going to be left over that you need to pay. Now, if we're going to talk about the college pathway, we obviously need to talk about the application process. At the very least, if you're planning on pursuing the college pathway, you need to have your high school diploma or your GED. If you have to pick between the two, because I know some students coming into the program might still be undecided, if you're considering college, I would lean a little bit more towards the high school diploma route, because that's just going to give you a little bit less to wrestle with. Though, I have seen a lot of students succeed in college with a GED under their belts. You're going to have to apply. So apply online or with a paper application for the college or university that you're looking at applying to. I would always apply online no matter what, and send a paper application maybe as a backup if you feel it's necessary. But I know that a lot of colleges who offer paper applications will also insist that you apply online as well. So if given the option, always go online. It's a lot easier to keep track of for both you and the admissions counselor at the college. You might have to write a personal statement essay, which is basically college's way to find out a little bit about you before they accept you as a student. And this is a small essay that you can write, maybe 1 to 2 pages, that allow you to say, this is why I think I would be a good fit for your institution. This is why you should accept me. You may also have to submit some standardized test scores. Now, we in Kansas do focus a little bit more on the ACT. When it comes to the SAT, you see that a little bit more on the East Coast. So unless you're looking at going to college in the Pacific Northeast, that might be something that you don't really need to worry about, but the ACT is definitely something that I would recommend taking if you're pursuing the college pathway. No matter what, even if you have a full scholarship, make sure you apply for the FAFSA, so that free application for federal student aid. So you just have a backup plan if something goes wrong with your scholarship, God forbid. Because at the end of the day, if your scholarship doesn't go through and you can't pay to college, you can't go to college. So make sure you have that FAFSA there just as a backup, because you don't want to cut your own opportunities short. You do have to be accepted into the Advanced Career Training Program if you are planning on living on center and commuting to college. You also need to have time left during your time here at Job Corps to earn a certificate or degree. So, in order to navigate through myPACE to find a college program, what you are going to do is exactly the same thing that you did in Lesson 17 to find an advanced training program, except you're going to go one to the right. Instead of that orange box on the far left, you are going to click on the purple box that says ACT and College. And it's going to pull up a page that is similar to what you saw with the advanced training. But instead of Job Corps advanced training programs, it's going to pull up college programs. And it's going to pull up different types and levels of education. So some might be associate's degrees, some might be doctoral degrees. Make sure you're looking at what you're clicking on. And you will be able to find a lot more information in a single consolidated place. You're able to pull up the website for the university directly from the myPACE website. So this makes researching different college opportunities incredibly easy for you. If you do end up having an occupation that does not have any college opportunities, that's okay. That's why we have 3 occupations favorited from Lesson 10, so just go in with a different one. What that indicates to us is maybe college isn't going to be your pathway, and that's okay. If you have any questions about the college pathway or how to complete Lesson 18, feel free to reach out to your myPACE instructor. We're happy to set up a call with you on our phones, on Google Hangout, on Zoom, whatever is going to be the easiest for you. As you are completing Lesson 18, please make sure you are checking to make sure that you are not submitting an advanced training program as the college program that you are interested in. So if you have something that says like OTP or OJC on there, or any option that says Job Corps, make sure you are not selecting that, because we will reopen that lesson for you so that we can get a college program for the college lesson. So just make sure that you're checking yourself and not accidentally clicking the wrong thing. Thank you guys for listening to this lecture, and I will metaphorically see you in the next lecture.